What we're going to be going over now is our pin-loaded leg press. Now, like most of our machines, everything should have a yellow point that allows it to move for you to get into the right position. Now, with your leg press, there's a couple of different variations we're going to go over today, but first in this video is going to be our standard two-legged variation. So when getting into the seat, we want to make sure that you've got enough space to get your feet up. I'm very crowded here, so this is too low for me to get into position. I'm going to use the handle to get myself up. Now, for yourself, if your platform has a numbering system like this, I'm going to place my toes in line with number 2. We don't want to go too high just because when doing a leg press, it's very much a quad dominated movement. You'll see some people talk about hamstring dominated or glute dominated. It doesn't really make sense for a squat movement pattern, okay? You can slightly bias those areas. However, this is definitely much more of a quad dominated movement, similar to a squat, okay? So getting my toes down to that number 2 position, I want your feet to be just outside of hip width apart. Don't go too narrow just for the sake of today, and feel free to point your toes out ever so slightly. So they're not dead vertical, but they're just slightly angled out, okay? Now, from here, I can lower myself down a little bit just to make sure that my knees are at a minimum of 90 degrees. If you can go a little bit lower, awesome. If not, 90 degrees is absolutely fine. Now, what I want you to make sure you're doing is hold on to your handles for support. This is really gonna help you brace for the movement. Some people mentioned to me that they experience a bit of lower back pain when leg pressing. Generally, it's for this reason, and it's because they're not bracing using the handles. So grip on nice and tight and pull yourself down to the seat. Imagine you're on a roller coaster and you're absolutely shitting yourself. Pull yourself into the seat nice and tight. Now, I don't want you to push through your heels or your toes specifically, but through the entirety of your foot. Imagine we've got 3 points, one in our toe, pinky toe, and heel, and we're putting equal pressure through all 3 points. Hold on to those handles to create that tension and push up, okay? I don't want to see your toes coming off or your heels coming off. Just keep that pressure in, lower yourself down to the bottom before coming back up. It's important to note as well, with any leg press, whether it's pin loaded or your plate loaded one, I want you to avoid locking your knees out all the way. If you YouTube leg press fail videos, this will be one of the things, and people can invert their knees if you're just being silly, okay? I don't want you to be scared of this machine. However, I just want you to be cautious of not locking your legs out for that reason. So me right here, I've hit almost full extension, but I haven't put the weight on my joint. That is the important thing. We want to straighten our leg, but not to the extent of putting the weight on our joint, okay? Lower yourself back down and then complete all the sets and reps as prescribed. Please be sure to send me through some videos of you completing this exercise. Try and get the best angles available, whether it is a side angle or a front angle, depending on the exercise. This way I can make sure that I'm helping you perform the best technique possible for the given exercise. Send through the videos in the direct chat available to you, and then I'll give you some feedback straight away.